A lot of times I do wonder and imagine, and I need you to join me on this. Just for a second, imagine a world where every decision we make is informed, every belief questioned, and personal growth just becomes intuitive. Welcome to Fresh Perspectives, hosted by myself, Banjo, where we delve into the unseen biases that shape our societal norms. Join me on this journey as we expand our thinking and open more pathways to understanding in business, finance, career, relationships, and so much more. All it takes, trust me, is a fresh perspective. Let's go. Hello, everyone. First of all, introduction, they say. Welcome to this episode of Fresh Perspective. And here with me today is Iyiola. And in this friendly chat, we wrap up the very special month of love with this episode. I believe February is the, most special month of the year. Don't ask me why. But anyways, this episode isn't so much of an interview, but more of a warm conversation where we both evaluate certain topics that I believe you would find entertaining and perhaps give you a different perspective. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. There's a comment feature on Spotify, which I believe you can access and you don't have to pay. And that also gives you access to many other podcasts, But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. And without any further ado, let's crack on. Okay, so welcome to this episode of Fresh Perspectives. And here with me, I have your name. This is the part you mention your name, please. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Iyiola.
All right, good. Welcome to this. See, the fact that you're here alone means that you've blown. Like you're now a popular person.
Oh my God.
Any endorsement you get from this platform that I'm giving you, you have to give me commission, okay? But yes,
Say
welcome to
nothing.
this show.
Thank you.
I have something interesting to discuss today, and I thought it would be interesting to have you on this show. As I've promised you, I would not read your biography. Well, I checked Google. I checked Google, I couldn't find it much. So maybe
Wow.
you need to work more on your personal branding. Sorry. I
Hey,
mean,
sorry,
that's a
why are
good
we
thing.
here again?
Don't worry, it's not to
Okay.
roast you.
He's looking like
as
it, but okay.
as you have requested and I have promised, I will not read your biography. I will not say much about. I think yes. All I can say is that you're just there and a good friend. Let me allow you introduce yourself. Maybe that would at least introduce yourself in the way you're comfortable with. Tell
Okay.
us your
Hi,
age,
everybody.
your background, your, your blood group.
Okay.
I'm joking. No.
And genotype.
But
Okay, don't worry. Hi, my name is Iyiola. I work as an HR professional, more like an HR generalist. I I love to travel. I love adventures, but nothing too extraordinary. And yeah, I cherish my friends, family. And yeah, I think I should just leave it at that. Yes, just
yeah, I know you
have a
like to
simple
be very
person.
humble and you wouldn't want to talk about the series of businesses that you own.
Oh
But
my goodness. Please don't let my
uh,
helpers hear this.
I think one of the reasons why I chose this particular topic is because I know you usually have a very different perspective to certain things from me. And it would just be good to like get that other side of things and just discuss. But I think before we even go in, how are you doing? And how's been your week? Hope it's been nice.
I'm
I could not
fine.
manage. Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't get that.
I say I'm hoping that you've not had a very manic week like myself.
Um, I'm fine. Yes, I'm fine. My week has been quite monotonous, just, doing the regular stuff, working, you
Firing
know.
people.
No, no, I didn't have to do any of that. But yes, like just like working very. But I think the week has been pretty fast. Like next thing it was Monday, and then next thing it's like, oh, it's Thursday already and
Interesting.
stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been good. Yeah, I'm grateful.
Good, good. I'm jealous of you in the sense that I wish I could say that, but it's been a very, uh, I don't know, stressful week, I would say. Uh, I recently started this project. It's currently the biggest project now in the company, in fact. And it's just like when they drop you into like one massive ocean and you're just trying to, you keep moving, you don't even know where you're going to, you don't know where you're coming from. But, and, the crazy part is I'm working with someone and I'm meant to just join him and support and all. And then he keeps telling me that, don't worry, this thing. And I see this guy sweating, and I'm like, guy, you're sweating this thing. You yourself, you're sweating. You're asking me, you're telling me not to worry. Maybe I should just start sweating now so that when it gets tough, I mean, the tough can keep getting a bit going or whatever they say. But yeah, so far I can't complain. I can't complain. It's been good,
Mm.
I guess. And
Mm.
yeah, just to kick off the conversation, you sent something to me recently, a post by Paste that marriage is a business decision. And in all honesty, I feel like sometimes that has always been my perspective, but I know a lot of people would not accept that. I'm sure a lot of people, some people would have seen that and say, marriage is not a business decision. Marriage is a thing of the heart. Marriage is a thing of um,
Mm.
prayer and fasting and all. But do you think there's a possibility that someone probably could have thought, oh, that statement wasn't exactly in line with, because it sounds like everything has to be logical, but not everybody takes logical decisions when it comes to like choosing someone.
Yeah, true.
In a way, how do you see it as a business decision? How can you see marriage as a business decision for someone that is probably hearing this and saying that's not correct, like marriage is not a business decision and all?
Okay, so I think for me, just making reference to that post, I think I kind of understood where he was coming from. And it's like, okay, if maybe you have like a business idea, for example, it's like I mean, for somebody that is very forward thinking and you're trying to put things in perspective, nobody wants to pour in maybe their funds and everything into a business that they think is not viable. So you want to put things in perspective. You want to, some people even go as far as, having a project manager, having a business developer, just trying to put things in perspective. Okay, this business that I'm trying to venture into, what are the shortfalls, what are the things that we're going to encounter along the way, what are the who are the competitors if there are any, just things like that. You want to put things into perspective and you want to make sure that what you're going into would be to your own gain, even if not like immediate gain, but at least in the long run you're going into it
Yeah.
for the right reasons. You're trying to understand the resources that you need. So just basically, just to summarize before I start the whole business plan.
Well, is there a place for like, before, is there a place for like, I thought it was something of faith that people just have faith and you just
Yeah.
believe some of
So,
these
but
things.
also like if you're trying to go into like a business, like, or you're trying to make a business decision, um, for people of faith, there's also that part of like faith, and then you would obviously put in the work, and then you do all these things, you do your due diligence, and then you're still like praying to God that, okay, God, I've put in all this work, please, bless my efforts, let it like, yield gains and things like that. So I think also, not to downplay the place of like your faith in God, in like making your decision and like praying about it and letting God lead you and things like that, but at the same time, like, you actually need to open your eyes. Like they say, oh, like you can't when they say love is blind, but marriage will open your eyes or things or stuff like that. So at the end
Marriage
of
is
the day,
the eye
like you
opener.
have yes, marriage is the eye opener, right? So I feel like there's also that place of logic that can be undermined, as well as, there's a place of faith and, praying about it and letting God lead you.
Cool. I saw something on a friend's post and it said, it's really about taking breaks from relationships. This guy was
Okay.
very passionate and angry. Why would you be saying you're taking breaks from your relationship? Which, to be honest, I think I understand where it's coming from, Sha.
Wait, is it
And I'm just
from?
thinking, from what? Yeah, like from your relationship. So I don't know if I'm sure you probably have heard two people who are supposedly in a relationship saying that they're taking
Oh, okay,
breaks
from like an ongoing relationship. Okay, okay,
from
okay.
an ongoing relationship.
Oh, okay.
The guy said,
Okay.
"Is he have time?" But then, do you think there's any sense in that? What do you think is just yeah, another way of just breaking up that, or do you think there's any point in taking breaks in relationships at all? Because me, I feel like in a way I can see how it's not really black and white. I
Mm-hmm.
think
Yeah.
I think I've heard people take breaks and then come back and they succeeded, he survived, he ended in
Mm-hmm.
marriage at least. But I've also seen cases where people have taken breaks and from there broke through. And,
Mm.
that was it. But what do you think? Like, do you think breaks are actually genuine or do you think they're actually genuine breaks, really?
So I feel like for this one, I don't know. I'm somebody that likes to issue a lot of disclaimer, but I feel like for this, it can be very subjective because sometimes, when you're not in a particular situation, it might just not make sense to you until maybe you find yourself there. For people that have probably had phases in their relationship where they took breaks and still came out strong, will beg to differ, and they will tell you, oh, breaks can be beneficial, right? But
Mm-hmm.
just looking at it on a surface level, I would want to believe that, like, when you're in a relationship with somebody, and I mean, I would want to believe that you're taking the break for maybe focus on something. But
Have you taken a break from your relationship before?
no, I haven't.
Could you have? Do you think it probably, maybe if you look back now at some of them, do you think a break would have probably worked for you guys? Do you think so?
Um, so in all honesty, I'm not sure it was really like it would have been about like taking breaks. Maybe it was just time to let things go. I don't know. For me, so for me, it's like maybe, like I said, maybe when one is in that situation. And then another thing is, when you look at somebody's patterns, when you look at like the person that you're with and what you've built over time, and maybe you can also look at the peculiar situation that they are in at that point in time when they're asking for a break, then maybe like you would be able to understand that. But right now, it's just like I just feel like, okay, I'm looking at it from the perspective of when you're with somebody, you guys are meant to like go through stuff together. And if you want to go through hard times away from the person, then
Yeah.
like I don't know, I mean, I'm not downplaying the like for people, I'm not downplaying it for people that like it makes sense to, but I just feel like because okay, if you're like maybe dating and you're going to like end up getting married and all of that, because that's actually another phase of life again. You're still growing up, at some point you might decide to like start having kids and everything. So like life is just in phases and things always happen. So if maybe for people that take breaks maybe when they go through some form of pressure, when things happen over time in life, like is that how you would keep taking breaks from the marriage or stuff like that? Do you understand? And the thing is,
Yeah.
when you get married, you don't wave a magic wand and become a whole new person. It's just a continuation of who you've always been. It's just like now there's
Exactly.
extra commitments. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Uh, in terms of that, what do you think finance is like a topic that should be discussed? We've talked about marriage being a business decision. Should you discuss? Do you think it's okay to discuss finances? Like, have you discussed finances with any of your? Or would you just feel comfortable discussing finances with someone you're not married to yet?
Oh, I think absolutely it is very, very important. I mean, especially when you're talking like, okay, you want to end up together with this person, like you guys want to get married. I feel like
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm not referencing anybody for these statistics, but I kind of just feel like quite a number of like issues in marriages and all that um quite a number of them are also centered around like finances, like all this whole money thing. It's not everything that's like, or some other things that like the society would naturally like perceive it to be. But I think sometimes too is centered around finances. Like I feel like important questions like, oh, how do you manage your finances? What does money mean to you? Because just imagine a chronic saver and a chronic spender being together, like they will literally they will literally frustrate each other because somebody's like, you're just burning the resources of this household, and another person is like, you only live once, please let's enjoy our lives.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
as a family, you're trying to pull your resources together. So if one person is, trying to save and the other person is trying to spend, it can be quite a daunting task. So I think some of all these conversations are very essential, especially when you're
But
talking about marriage.
so in terms of compatibility, you're saying that someone who spends, I think that thing, compatibility in itself is, it can be very confusing because compatibility sometimes does not necessarily mean similarities. Sometimes compatibility can even be opposites. Like someone who spends and someone who saves might even be better off than two spenders or people who are savers. But I guess it really comes down to the relationship. But I think a lot of
Yeah,
times
yeah,
people just have closed minds on certain
yeah.
things. Like it doesn't work like that. But do you think you should? Do you think you should change? So
Yeah.
I've heard something that compromising is good. Oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to chip into what I was saying earlier. I was talking about like in extreme situations,
Yeah.
like talking about maybe somebody like that's why I said like somebody that is like a chronic, spender and somebody that is a
Yeah.
chronic. But
Yeah.
generally, if like somebody likes to save, it's like, okay, no, let's not do this. There's that like should I say there's that civil conversation between them, you know. And then for
Uh-huh.
somebody that also likes to spend, it's like, okay, yes, we'll spend on essential things. So if it's in like a sane level like that, it can actually work. I think that's some form of compatibility because you guys are still trying to do the things you love, but at the same time, you're still trying to save for rainy days, things like that. But if it's like two extreme people that have like, do you know that there are actually people that they don't see the need to like save money, like as the money is coming in. In fact, before the money
Yeah.
comes in, they've actually like budgeted like how to spend everything. It's like you only live once, please. Why am I? If people, there are people that
Yeah.
say stuff like, if you die now, they will not even give your next of kin, blah blah
Uh-huh.
blah. So there are actually people that are like that. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, there has to be a balance. I think that's just what I'm trying to say.
Do you think it's good to change for someone? Like you meet this guy, there are certain
Hmm.
things he probably doesn't like about you, and
Hmm.
there are certain things he doesn't like or you don't like about.
About him.
Yeah. Uh, do you think you should change? Because I've heard things like you shouldn't compromise or you shouldn't change, or maybe those two things are different things. But do you think it's okay to change for someone or to
Um,
yeah have someone change
yes.
for?
So yeah, so the way I would look at it is, I don't think I would really term it changing for somebody, but I think it's okay for you. It's okay for, maybe somebody like helps you um or helps you identify some things that or some aspects of your life that need improvements, and you take that like in good faith, and then maybe there's a way you can give constructive feedbacks to somebody, and then the person is like, because sometimes there are times when you feel like, and I was having a conversation with somebody one time, a friend, and she was telling me about how sometimes you feel like, oh, you're such a good person, you're so, but then, like, when you get married, it's like, oh my God, it's such an eye opener. It's like, and then she started to tell herself, oh, I need to be more forgiving. I need to be more, it will just start to reflect, like, some things about yourself. So I think in that regard, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're with somebody and you start to find out some things because you don't really know it all, at the end of the day. So you try to find out some things about yourself and you're like, okay, I think I need to actually change. So at the end of the day, you're changing for yourself, not necessarily for the person. But I mean, it has to be like constructive feedback. It has to be non-toxic. Like it has to be, you know, um, it would even show that the person actually just has your best interest at heart, not that the person is just trying to pull you down and things like that. So I think it's not bad if somebody actually, helps you constructively identify those areas where you need improvement, and then you just take those lessons and you work on yourself and you improve. Even if you don't end up being together, like it just counts for something eventually.
Mm, absolutely. And I've heard people say people don't change. Oh, don't love it. Don't marry somebody.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
But then you're saying people change. But I guess do people really change or they just compromise? Because
People can change. I think it depends. People can change. And I think when that whole people don't change, or you can't change anybody, I think it depends on the individual you're dealing with and it depends on the issue at hand.
no,
It's not like
no.
maybe, for example, somebody is using you as a punching bag and then you're like, it will change, it will
It
stop
might
punching.
change.
Yeah. No, you go see John Cena. No, I feel like for things like that, it would just be, I don't think it would be so wise for you to just keep saying that, the person that is already punching you would change tomorrow and all of a sudden they would just stop. Like, so, I mean, common sense has to be applied. But on some,
Yeah.
because, people can be
But that,
very
that
finicky
person can
about stuff.
change though. Do you know? They are not
Yeah,
with them
the
for
person
life.
should go. The person should go and change and, do their thing
How do
and
they
work
know
on it.
they've changed? Is it not by practicing with someone that they would know they've
But
changed?
then, you that you have access to that kind of information and you are with the person, please just allow them to. That's the thing. Even Pastor Kingsley says this thing that it's not everybody you come across that you must marry. That mentality of as I've
Mhm.
been with this person and we must be there together and just
Oh,
it's
God, I
not
beg.
compulsory. There are some people that are just going to be in your journey, and that is absolutely fine. So you don't have to kill yourself and say, okay, you must be the one that will be there through it all, and the person which and you want to still be waiting there for the person to stop beating you. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. But if it's on like trivial matters, because people can be very finicky about stuff and like they pick on things like, this person doesn't close the door well, or like there are some things that
Yeah.
are not that much of like a big deal and everything that you can always like, compromise or like have conversations
Mhm.
around and the person would like change that. Even I'm sure you probably have come across maybe friends or something that would be like, oh my God, ever since I started dating this person, XYZ has like I've started to do XYZ or I've started
Yeah.
to like do this and that. There are people that will that will get with people and then they take their fitness more seriously. They start to
Mhm.
like, yeah, so things like that.
Yeah.
Like people can
Yeah.
actually positively like impact you on like, but if it's something that is very, detrimental to your life and well-being and things like that, don't hang around and say, oh, you're waiting for the person to change. Carry your two
Mm.
slippers and run.
It's funny because personally, I am of a strong opinion that people don't change. And this is me just telling you honestly. I hate to even attempt to change someone. Like if I know that this person, like this is how you are. I and this is from a place of I don't know, maybe common sense that there's no point in you trying to change anybody because to be honest, I just felt like people rarely change. Like they say, leopards don't change their spots and stuff. But at the same time, maybe really, I think from what you said, maybe really people change certain things, but how do we know what can change and what cannot change?
you know,
Yeah, I guess it's
I
the
think
tricky one.
I think also another thing that I think is noteworthy here is that sometimes and the thing is in recent times I try to have some those introspective thoughts
You
and things
kind of
like that.
introspect.
Yes. So and the thing is, sometimes we hold people accountable to standards that we're not living up to ourselves. Don't
Mm,
forget that if somebody is with you now, for example, there are actually things that you probably need to work on yourself that they are, you know, they are just, hoping and, trying to maybe encourage you to do better at. So
true.
at the end of the day,
True.
nobody is perfect. But then when you talk about that, nobody changes, blah 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 blah. Yeah, like I said earlier, there you have to know where to draw the line. You have to know when to say, okay, you know what, this one, make I just, go you therefore into the world. It's not me and you, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
you have to know where to draw the line. But again, let's not hold people accountable to, some standards that were not even, because even if somebody is like to get with you, for example, there are some things too that you're trying to do better at, and they're being graceful, they're being like, supportive. I mean, of course, if those things are not like
Maybe or
crazy,
maybe.
toxic, what do you say?
I said maybe or maybe not. But yeah, go on.
Oh my goodness, who is perfect? You know, so that's the thing. So I feel like when is like things that are, kind of trivial or things that you can just extend some form of grace towards the person. Because even if maybe now I sit and I'm like, oh, this must be this, that must be that. There are some things that I'm also trying to do better at as well. So at the end of the day, nobody's perfect, but you have to know the imperfection that you can deal with or you cannot
Yeah,
deal with. So
absolutely. I think what I can pick from that now, just as you were talking, is the fact that I think you should know what you can compromise on. So
absolutely.
if this thing change, then all well and good. But if it doesn't change, I think you should evaluate if you still be fine with it. Because I don't know, Sha. Some things are fundamental. Some things, I think, to change certain things, people need to find the root cause. They need to find where it all started from. And
Mhm,
sometimes, I once read something online that people who are extra careful or nervous
mhm,
generally, they tend to do so based on previous experiences, maybe like when they were very, 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 very young. And then you get into things like attachment styles and all those kind of things. But those kind of things, if you don't discover them, you probably wouldn't change. And so some things might not even be able to change ever. And
mhm.
I think it's just a matter of identifying the negotiables, the non negotiables. Like, this is something I
Absolutely.
can negotiate. This is
I
not
agree.
something I can negotiate. But yeah, I think it's just a bit of a tricky
Yes.
one.
That seals it, to be honest. I don't think it's black or white, like, oh, people don't change. Like, I don't think it's black or white, like I said. I think
Okay. People
sometimes
can change.
people are actually, in fact, that's one of the things, like human dynamism. People are very much capable of change, both positively and negatively. So
All
people
right.
can actually change. And so it depends, like, to what degree, how fast can some people change. Are some people even, the first thing is to even identify that there's something that needs to be changed. That one, some people have not even identified that there is something that needs to be worked
Ah,
on. So that's a different ballgame
how do you
entirely.
identify it though?
A lot of times you can, I mean, that's why I feel like it's very important to pay attention to the people you surround yourself with. Sometimes
Mm,
all these things you cannot, as much as everybody is like, oh, I'm trying to do better. Sometimes we tell ourselves that, oh, I want to be a better person. I want to do
yeah.
better. But sometimes you actually need people around you to, constructively
Very
give you those
important.
feedbacks. So, because that's why I feel like it's important to have people that are, that would tell you the truth, that would, give you constructive feedbacks and tell you that, okay, I think this aspect, because there are some aspects that maybe you can easily identify yourself. Maybe, for example, somebody that is not necessarily so tidy, even though, yes, some people can tell you, but I mean, you're not being tidy. Like, if you go into your house or your room, like, you can see that you're not being a tidy person, and like, you can easily identify that by yourself. But I feel like there are some things, because there are some people that think they are nice, but they are not necessarily the nicest people. I don't
Hey,
know.
I hope I'm nice. I hope. But maybe what I would suggest for people is to kind of like me. I've never been all these things that people just fly around like. write an anonymous message for me, blah, blah, blah. Maybe that's actually one
Oh,
of the best ways you
think,
could
oh my
actually
God.
become more self-aware.
Something just came to my mind now, and I realized that one thing that it might take quite a number of people to tell you
Yeah.
before you realize is this issue of emotional intelligence.
Hey.
Not everybody is very emotionally intelligent, but that's something you may actually not discover yourself. You just be like, oh, okay, I say, people say, oh, I say it as
Mhm.
it is, I give you as it is. And people are like, oh,
Mhm.
I'm a very blunt person. If you want to know the truth, come to me. I will give, I will tell,
Uh, I
I
feel
will
like
tell you as it is. You I'm the best person to tell you as it is. But sometimes those people don't actually realize that they are not the most emotionally intelligent people.
Mm,
So things like
mm,
that, you might actually need people around you to point it out and tell you that, you know what, it's okay to be truthful. It's okay to, but
mhm.
you need to learn emotional intelligence because sometimes it's not just about, oh, I say it as it is. Me, I don't care. I will tell you as it is. I'm sure you've heard things like that. I
Uh-uh.
will
I think I might actually say things like that, to be honest. But obviously, I've come to people have told me that yeah, maybe I should just try to not be too blunt. I think people don't really like to hear the truth, and that's something I've come to discover. Or maybe they claim they like to hear the truth, but at the same time, yeah, you just need to be more emotionally intelligent. Like, just be more empathetic too. That's
Yes,
something that
yes,
I've also been
yeah.
trying to learn.
Because sometimes, right, and it's not even, it might even be maybe something general, but it might be something peculiar to somebody. And the thing is, sometimes you just know a part of the story. So if
Yeah.
maybe you're trying to pass a message across to somebody and you're like, the way you just did this, maybe the person is struggling with something,
Mm.
and that is like their greatest insecurity that you're just, throwing on their face. And maybe something that has even made them almost commit suicide at some point in their life.
Yeah.
And then maybe you
Mm.
are just noticing that thing about them and you're like, eléyìí, in fact, what is
Yeah.
she?
Sure.
You know, you're like,
Sure.
what is she? That kind of thing. I feel like that kind of thing can be very, you don't want to be somebody that will break someone's spirit. You don't, at the end of the
Mm.
day, as
Mm.
Christians, we're supposed to be lights. We're supposed to be like,
Yeah. I
to
was filled with grace.
yes, have our words filled with grace and everything. So you want to be somebody that will make somebody's day, not make someone go home and cry to sleep that night. So sometimes, like,
Yeah.
I think it's just the way, it's not about saying the truth, but you can say the truth in love, with
Yeah.
grace, with empathy. Yeah, I think that's what matters.
I think we are rounding up soon, but I think another set of people that I would have loved to take that survey. I think of this thing for myself that maybe I should take this survey at some point, but I think the set
Please
of
send it
people I
my way.
always
I want to as well.
it's people that one of the most difficult thing to tell people is that they have mouth odor or body odor.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I just wish they would send me that survey. I just wish I would fill that anonymous survey. Like, please, just ask. Or maybe it's not something.
But would you tell someone around you they have a body odor or like mouth odor?
Ah, it depends on my relationship with that person. And
But what if it's
even
somebody you're
though
not close to, but the person is constantly around you and like you're finding difficult to breathe?
Omo, I will find a way to suggest them to take that survey really cause. Or maybe I'll find a way to just do you care for gum? And this is not to say anybody have given gum. No, this is this is please,
Wait,
this is
wait,
not
what if his body odor? Will you be offering the
what is this
person
body odor?
deodorants
That
and
one would be so
perfumes?
direct. I feel. I mean, you are the HR, so how would you? What do you think
Oh
is the
my
best
goodness.
way to tell someone? To tell someone they have body odor or mouth odor, really?
Oh wow. So now I'm the HR.
Yes, so now you are the HR, yeah, big. But
No, please. You are the host of this podcast. Please tell us.
I don't have all the answer, and everybody knows that
So we're all
this
learning. We're
podcast
all
is not.
persons in the hands
Yeah,
of the
we are all
maker.
learning and just checking and seeing different perspectives. But to be honest, that survey I would recommend everybody to just take, and you don't have to post it on your WhatsApp story or something. But
Is this a shade?
well, you have to actually, because it has to be people that know you, right? I don't know, but I think there are ways of saying it. I think you can be more emotionally intelligent. And if you need help, you go to ChatGPT, or at least I think it's DeepSeek people are using now. Like, please, what is the most emotionally intelligent? I've not actually tried this, but it's something I'm thinking of. Like,
Yeah, I'm
what is
sure
the
there will
most
be good
emotionally
suggestions.
intelligent way to put it?
Way to tell. Yeah, yeah.
Say, please, this thing, it won't kill us, please. They choke. Well,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyways, that's really cool. Thank you very much for coming on this show. It's been nice to just have this conversation with you. This like a very, I mean, you can see it's not so serious. It's very casual conversation and all. And I just thought, yeah, let's just have this. It was impromptu, and thanks for the short notice. And you still turned up and gave your opinions or shared your thoughts. So thank you very much for coming. And we would close here. And thank you very much for everyone that's listening, and do well to subscribe, follow us, and yeah, we'll keep in touch on Fresh Perspectives. Bye for now.
Thank you for having me.